Alrighty traders, hello everybody. So I wanted to, if you guys have been following me now for quite some time, maybe for the last few months or 6 months or a couple of years, this was me going back 15 years ago, and I wanted to show you I wanted to show you my actual trading setup that I had back then, and I want to share with you how I used to trade and what I used to do and all that sort of stuff, and how times have changed, right? This is me 15 years ago, and how times have changed. So you can see down the bottom here, you can actually see that this was actually 15 years ago. It's probably roughly when I first started the actual YouTube channel, and it was back in July 2009. Let me see if I can get this microphone to work. Okay, anyway, so this was 2009. So that alone can tells you how long I've actually been trading the markets for, right? So anyway, so this is back in 2009 when I first started the YouTube channel. You can see it only had 400 views on there from that there. And this one here was my actual trading setup and how I used to trade. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you on this screen here, I want to share with you what I used to have as a setup, as a trade setup, how many screens I had and how many screens I have right now, and my sort of results and all that sort of stuff. So we can see here that this is my actual trading setup here.
I have a lot of monitors and a lot of screens I'm going to show you guys in a minute. I have many computers set up in this video now and show you how serious I am about trading. So let's have a look at the setup. I'm just going to get up a bit now. I'm just going to grab the camera, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it over here a bit. Okay, so I just want to show you now.
So I'm just playing this video for you. This was me obviously 15 years ago, and yeah, so I'll continue playing this.
I'll show you this now. Let me stand up a bit now. Okay, sorry about the wobbly bit there. Now the first thing I want to show you is this section through here. Okay, this is my laptop. Okay, I also have, let me just do this, I also have a secondary laptop, because if this one fails, I can use this one. If this one fails, I can use this one. Now, I don't really use those for trading, but what you can see is this little guy here. And this little guy here is something that I've recently learned about trading. And sometimes when the internet goes down and you're trading a lot of contracts, especially what I'm doing right now, I'm trading for hundreds of other people right now with my auto trader for my futures trading room, I see that this little guy here is going to save me a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of stress, because sometimes, as you guys know, Telstra's not really that reliable, and I'm with Telstra. So I'm using this big pond setup here to make sure that I have this setup or this guy set up straight away, so if my internet goes down, I can automatically get connected. So backup is crucial, and that's something that I've recently done with my trading, take it to the next step, because you just never know what's going to happen. So what you can see right now in front of you right now is a particular screen, and this here is a 27-inch. And what we can see on this 27-inch, we can see my trading platform.
Now you can see here, right? This is look at this here. So this is what I used to use. This was stochastic, I think it was. So anyway, let me continue.
You can see a daily chart of the E-mini S&P, because it's in the morning right now. It's about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I trade the futures market all night. We can see this.
So there's one thing, right? So you can hear me say how I used to trade, and the reason I'm doing this video for you is I wanted to show you how I used to trade and my results, and how I trade now and my results. And the reason I'm doing this here because I'm trying to share with you, how my thinking was back then, and it's probably your thinking as well. And I want to sort of help you guys out as well too. So how my evolution over the last 15 years of my own personal trading career, and obviously how I used to trade back then.
The daily chart. I also have at the top here, I also have the 3 main markets I'm looking at. This is the NQ, the YM, and the ES. These are the 3 main markets.
So the NQ, so what I used to do is, I live here in Australia, so what I used to do is, I used to stay up all night and trade in the US futures markets, right? So I used to trade the Nasdaq, the YM, which is the Dow, and the ES, which is the S&P 500. So they were the main markets that I used to trade. And I used to trade 1-minute charts, 2-minute charts, and all that sort of stuff. So anyway, I'll show you here.
But then, that's my trading setup, but then I also do my analysis. So I have this one chart here, okay, which I do my analysis on. Then I have I'm not going to go through the charts and the particular setup and why I have this setup. I'm just going to quickly show you my setup here. So if I move back a bit, so that's 1, 22, 27. If I move sideways, and this is the cord I'm just using right now for my headset, this here is another screen. This is my other 220. So I have, just once again, 127, 227 screens so far. This is a bigger, longer term time frame. This is like a 5-hourly chart I used. The other one was like a 60-minute chart. Big long term time frame, so I can actually see what is going on in the.
It's actually really interesting. I'm just looking at my charts now, and even though I have the stochastics down the bottom here, see this chart here? See how it's really sort of clean with just one moving average? It's actually really similar to how I trade right now. I just don't use the stochastic down the bottom, so it's actually really interesting to see how all that's actually playing out.
The market at that time. So there's 227s, and then I go down towards these two guys here. Now let me minimize this here for a second. Okay, so what I'm showing you guys right now is my other screens. Okay, and I have a simple chart through here. All right, and this chart through here is a simple a 60-minute chart, but a blank 60-minute chart I'm using. Apologize for the shakiness here, but I'm just trying to do it with my webcam here. Okay, so you can see that's my chart there. I have a simple chart here that I do my analysis on. I have another chart here. So basically, if I step back a bit and show you guys, you can see that that's my setup through there. Okay, I have computers, laptops, 127, 227 through there. Then I have another screen through there and another screen through there. So there's 227s, 222s for that setup. Now, if I simply get back up again and show you the rest, I have another 22 right there. Then I have a 19-inch right there, and then I have another 22-inch right there.
So this one here, look at that. I'm just laughing, guys, because again, it's just like, wow. All right, I've been part of the industry. You can see, right? Literally, you can see this is the way that I used to trade the market. This was me 15 years ago. Just crazy, right? And look at this here. That was actually my son. It's actually really interesting because my son just turned 16. So that was actually my first son at that time. I was married at that time. It's crazy.
Basically, it's two computers, two setups. Okay. These three screens right here, and this mouse and this keyboard is for that setup. Now, if I go down below, this guy here is connected for these guys here. Now, when I move across, moving across now, we can see that I have those other screens through here. Okay, and this one, okay, and the actual chart. Now, one thing I do have here is these guys here are basically for news announcements. I keep myself up to date with news announcements. So this is what it's all about through here. Consistently, not just now, but consistently out of market. And by having this setup through here, it will.
Oh, anyway, so so I wanted to share that with you there, guys. So this is how I used to trade, all right? So I used to trade so many hours back then, right? So many hours. And by the way, it was roughly around this time that I ended up getting cancer. And it was just a long story. But the reason why I'm showing that there is that I used to trade. I used to have, I mean, how many screens was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 6, 7 screens, 2 computers. I used to stay up all night. I was married, and I used to not sleep a lot throughout the day, and I got stressed a lot and all that sort of stuff. And I was just watching the markets, and I didn't exercise back then, and my balance was all out of whack, and it was just, and you can see here, like, this is me 15 years ago trading the markets. And so that's the way that I used to trade. And I did okay, right? I did okay from there. And so when I say okay, I'm like maybe 6 figures a year, right? Maybe 6 figures a year. And again, it was okay. Sometimes even maybe a couple of 6 figures a year, but it was just doing okay. Now, again, like I used to trade like that because I always thought that I needed to stay up all night. I needed to trade the intraday charts. I needed to look at the 2-minute charts and the 5-minute charts and the 60-minute charts and trade all that and look for opportunities to get into it, right? That's the way that I used to trade. And it was actually hard because I never spent time with my family. I was always either sleeping or trading, because that was my life, right? Like this is what I wanted to do. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up for you and showing you now is that how I trade now is I just have one big 49-inch long screen TV computer. So that's what you're looking at right now. It's just one big. I think it's a 49-inch widescreen that basically fits 3 main screens, and that's how I trade. And now I only trade half of that screen goes into 2 main charts. One sort of chart has got multiple different charts, and then I just trade with one chart, and like and so this is how this and that's how I used to trade. How I trade now is just one main screen. I really have just a couple of main charts to set up, and I no longer trade the shorter time frame charts, the 5 minutes, the 15-minute, the 60-minute chart, stuff like that. How I trade now is I simply just I trade the US stock market. That's my baby in a sense. I use AI scans to help me find the trades. There's a lot of opportunities that can happen around the stock market. There's a lot of different stocks we can pick from. Again, guys, the thing for me is I'm not a lover of anything. I do keep an eye on the futures market. I do keep an eye on gold and silver and some of the foreign exchange pairs. But the thing is, my main baby in a sense is the US stock market because there's a lot of different stocks there. And ever since then, guys, my income has absolutely just skyrocketed, so much more ever since that. And now I only trade half an hour, maybe an hour per day. And now I do that. And what ended up happening is trading this way back then, trading that way, is that you tend to get really tired. You tend to put on a lot of weight because you're probably eating a lot, and drinking a lot to stay awake. Then you get frustrated, then you make mistakes, and then I was always right. And also back then I really didn't know what I now know about my trading the markets. When it comes to even actually like how to actually view a really good quality setup and what a good quality setup is. Back then I didn't even really know what a good quality setup was. Now after all this time, I now know what a high quality. So when people do coaching with me, and if you're interested in that, there's a link in the description. You can apply for it. But when people do coaching with me now, I've been trading the markets now for 20 years in total. And so now you get literally 20 years of all my journey in here. And I really wanted to share this with you. But now how I trade is now I only trade half an hour per day. I have scans to help me find the trades. And maybe an hour per day maximum. And then now I actually have the freedom out there to go do the other things I like, which is, sports and gyms and the boxing and and these other things that I'm excited about, that I get to have time for meditation, time for relaxation, and all this sort of stuff to make sure I'm having a good balanced life, and everything just seems to be working so much more, and I make so much more money now on a percentage terms, and also literally how much money I'm making now. I make so much more money now, and I work a lot less as a trader. And the reason why is because my success rate has gone up. I now know what a really high quality setup really is. And 3, there's I don't actually spend a lot of time on the screen, so I'm not making a lot of mistakes from there. So there were the differences for me. And the reason I'm bringing this up here for you is because I'm seeing a lot of people thinking that if they go trade more, right? If they go trade more, meaning I'm trading the US stock market right now on the close and I'm looking for opportunities, but now I'm also going to trade the first hour. And I'm going to trade more, because I want more opportunities to make more money, right? And what ends up happening is that I have found that more is not even more, right? Because what ends up happening is you get tired, you make mistakes, and you want to trade more hours, right? So you probably look at the screen 6-7 hours a day, sometimes longer, right? Looking at these smaller time frame charts, and especially looking at a 1-minute chart and a 2-minute chart, charts like that, and seeing the markets go up and down and looking for opportunities. It is hard, right? Because you're sitting there for hours. Do I get in now? Do I not get in now? Do I get in now? And like it's just It's hard, right? And by that, it's always hard because one, you're looking for opportunities, you can get a lot of fake outs. Two, you don't really make a good move. You might get into a nice trade, but the thing is, like, the reason why I like my trade now is because I get in on the daily charts and I'm trying to hold for a couple of weeks, sometimes a couple of months, and have a big profit on a trade. So I can have a really big profit or trade and not trade a lot, and only spend half an hour to an hour a day finding the trade, managing the trade, and all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to share this with you here. If you're going down the path of which a lot of people do, right? They go down to the foreign exchange path, the forex path, and all these other paths out there, thinking they need to trade these small time frames because they think more opportunities, more income, and it's actually the opposite. I have found. Right, as I said before, this is me 15 years ago. I used to trade like that, spend all night. And guess what? I was overweight. I got really sick. I actually literally got cancer. It was hard on the relationships, and I struggled. I didn't do really well financially. I did okay, but I didn't do really well financially. I never could break that really good that good barrier there. And now, fast forward, me 15 years later, this is 2009, and here we are now, 2024, right? Going into 2025, I now have learned of how to really trade the market for long-term and big growth. And one of the biggest things for me is that instead of looking for opportunities to get in on, say, a 2-minute chart and hold it for a little bit, maybe 2 or 20 minutes or 30 minutes and getting out for a profit and doing that again, that's hard, man, right? That's hard. How I found to actually do, how I trade now and how I make so much more profit now and how I make so much more money now from my trading is because I'm looking for opportunities. And now I also know what to look for. I'm looking for opportunities that I can literally hold on to for a couple of weeks, make a really nice profit, and only spend that small time frame. And because I'm not spending all my time in front of the charts, I'm out there doing my other thing, going to the gyms, boxing, spending time with people, and so on and so forth. I'm actually having a balanced lifestyle, and I'm clearing my mind as well too by meditating and all this other stuff, that when I come back to the market, I'm thinking clearly and I can make good decisions, and it compounds, right? The good decisions compound, and before you know it, I'm now trading way less than I used to before. I make so much more money than I did before, and I just wanted to share this with you. So if you ever if you're thinking about going down that path, or you're down that path now, then it's not always the case. I used to trade like that, and now everything's changed for me, and you actually end up becoming a lot more happier, right? Because back when this was happening, I remember the peak got to around about 30,000 a month on average. It was on average, right? Some months it's less, some months it's more. You know, some months I might have made 10 grand, and next month I might have made 50 grand, right? You know, I think that was the peak of the peak that I got to at that time. And I remember, you know, when we did that, moved to the beach, all that sort of stuff, but I was miserable. Well, I was absolutely, again, I remember this very, very clearly. Now, when I say 30,000 a month, that stayed there. It didn't stay there that long, right? Because things started like haywire. I'm like, I'm making all this money, but I feel depressed. I absolutely feel depressed. And it was a big wake-up call. And again, a big wake-up call me. And then literally within a few months later, that 30,000 a month on average went from like 30 down to 20 down to 10 really quickly. Again, that's on average, right? I might have had a flat month one month, and then the next month 40 grand, you know. And again, so that was the whole thing for me from there. And now, as I said before, now I actually trade the way that I trade. So this is me 15 years ago, guys. And I hope some things that I've said today in your video, that if you want to make a lot of money in the markets, the big key to making a lot of money in the market is finding opportunities that you can jump on and hold for a long time and have a big profit trade. That's how you make a lot of money in the markets. You don't make a lot of money in the markets by trading a lot, because when you trade a lot, you get in at the wrong time, you get out at the wrong time, you put on too much risk, you have too much emotions, and it's just all over from there. So anyway, I hope this helps you out there today, guys. This is me 15 years ago.